Anyone who's ever sighted in a rifle understands that holding your crosshairs still is easy until you get ready to pull the trigger. But with this product, we can hold our crosshairs this steady as well as eliminate the punishing recoil. Whether you have a fancy gun rest or if you prefer shooting off sandbags, this machine doesn't need to be attached to your rifle. Those rubber tips are going to protect your fine finishes while it grabs your trigger guard, allowing you to make your final adjustments, get the perfect point of aim, and then pull the trigger perfectly. It's also safe because when you let go, the Perfect Marksman lets go. I just turned you into the Perfect Marksman. You really need to do a few dry fires first. Also, dry fires are going to be able to give you the best evidence of what I consider perfect. I'm going to start another video for you so you can get a look at the reticle. Picture in picture. There we go. I like to get it close. Take my Marksman. A couple of light pumps to hang it. I know that mine's going to fire on the second firm pump. Couple of final adjustments. Take your time during this part of the process. We're wanting to get the perfect point of aim. Alright, now our focus needs to shift to the recoil and protecting our equipment. I like to keep my hand here for safety. Don't put your eye here, don't put your eye there. Please don't learn that lesson the hard way. We've all been there. One pump, second firm pump. You heard the click. Have it set up to where when you let go, it lets go. Do this several times. Make sure that you have a good feel for how this thing works. It is a little counterintuitive to switch your concentration from your point of aim. That's what we're usually focused on at the last second. But we're going to change it up a bit. We're focused on our equipment at this point. One pump, two pumps, click. Alright. After you've done that several times, you're ready for some live rounds. When you unwrap the Perfect Marksman for the first time, it'll come with what you see here. You've got zip ties for attaching to your particular setup. You've got your machine, your pump. You've got some spare parts in case you figure out a way to pop something. You've also going to have some literature. That literature is going to have instructional videos as well as the directions themselves. But it's going to strongly encourage you to get a feel for how this thing works. There's enough to concentrate on when you go to the range to keep yourself and the ones around you safe. Having to figure out how to use this thing right before you do live rounds is not something you need to be focused on. You need to practice at home. You need to practice with dry fire. You need to get a feel for your particular trigger before you go to the range to try live rounds. Let's go over to the gun rest and I'll show you how I set mine up. I like to take my zip ties and place them on the rails that run parallel to the gun. These zip ties should be attached to your firm tubing, but not so tight to prevent adjustment. You want to be able to possibly take this thing off and use it somewhere else. Like I say, the tubing goes back together. We want to adjust it left and right such that the trigger guard will support this side of the machine and the tubing can support the outside of the machine. Again, leave your zip ties loose enough so that they can adjust so that you can find the right combination for any of your firearms. If you prefer to use a sandbag and bipod setup, attaching the Perfect Marksman is as easy as this. We're going to accomplish the exact same result. It's important to note, however, that no matter what setup you're using, whether you're using sandbags or you're using my gun rest, we don't want our rifle to end up on the ground. I suggest bungee cords, maybe some sandbags behind the butt of your gun. There's a million combinations of tables, setups, and rifles, so it will be up to the user to understand how to properly account for recoil when attempting a remote trigger actuation. I believe that one of the most effective and available products to use with the Perfect Marksman is the lead sled. So I'm going to go over how I set up my apparatus to account for recoil. First, I take a ratchet strap, make a nice firm anchor to my table. Then I'm going to take a bungee cord and I'm going to attach it to that anchor. This is going to allow for a recoil absorption. We don't have to lock our gun down in a vise and damage the action during heavy recoil. Finally, we're going to take our rifle, get it set up, and I like to take a small and short bungee cord and go around. This is going to prevent the rifle from going up. You may have to go and get it just a fuzz tighter. This setup here is going to allow me to completely shield myself from recoil while I'm using this product. And with a setup like this, we're going to have ease of access to our final adjustments, double checking everything, and it's going to work perfectly.